Hello, my friends. My name is Jack Ticard, and this is Sentinel Circle. I'm honored and privileged to have you here today. I know YouTube has tens of millions of hours of content for you to consume, and I'm just glad that you're here today. Thank you very much. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. I've noticed in the analytics that we get a lot of new timers here that some have stayed, some have gone. I get it. But if you do come here repeatedly, please help with the channel. Help me out so that way I can help you out by subscribing. You can get notifications by clicking the bell if that's what you want to do. Again, I appreciate it. Be sure to comment. If you want to comment positive, negative, doesn't matter. Stories, even well wishes. I read it all. If I like it, I'll put it up on a video. I will reply back as best as I can. If you want to talk about something but don't want to have your name out there, you can send me an email. I read emails. I will reply to emails. You can remain anonymous. I promise all of you that. And if you feel my videos can help in some way, please share them with a friend. Bring them over. We'll help them out. We'll help you out. We'll do our best. That's all I can ever promise is we're going to do our best to do what we can. Okay? Anyways, we're going to enter comments first. I have one comment here that I'd like to read, and due to the nature of this video, there's no real subject per se. But this appeared under the video Humiliate Yourself for a Job Like a Good Wagey. And it was by Homefront Forge. For those who don't know, Homefront Forge is the father of Raymond's Thoughts and Minds. I know Raymond in certain circles is I don't want to say a controversial individual, but he does get a lot of trolls on his video. I do ask that please be kind, okay? It's not hard. You don't like the guy, okay, move on. There's so much out there on YouTube that there's no reason to sit there and say horrible things about Raymond, and to go after his father is also not fair. But I appreciate Homefront Forge for coming out. So I'll go ahead and read the comment. When it comes to humiliation, remember the corporations need you more than you need them. It's rarely ever a choice between humiliation and starvation. Walk away. Look elsewhere. Do not give someone ingress into your soul. Let self-respect and your empty stomach drive you to other opportunities. My reply was thank you very much for the comment. I'm kind of right there right now, honestly. So, two things. One is Homefront Forge is right. If you're in a situation that you can't handle, do your best to get out of it. There's a whole world of opportunities out there. There's nothing that says you have to stay in one spot. There's nothing that says you have to endure that kind of stuff. If in that video we watched a clip from China Observer about they were forcing their job candidates to do push-ups and physical exercise and do other degrading things. And you don't have to do any of that. Okay? But at the same time, though, I do recognize that people need to eat and people need to have housing over their head. There's always going to be a trade-off. My father basically told me that do what you can to survive and then figure the rest out later. Anyways, that's point one. Point two was I mentioned how I'm kind of going through that right now. Well, so I'm going to be upfront and honest here. I don't like talking about myself. The only reason why I do a lot of talking about myself on the channel is because there's not a lot of traffic yet to the videos. Not a lot of comments. In fact, one video, I was surprised. I had over 100 views and not one comment. I had one like as well, and it's weird because the average view time was about 5 minutes on that video, which, okay, that's not a lot of time. I'm sure that my content is not resonating with some people like I had hoped, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, it may not be their cup of tea. If they come back later on and watch, that's fine. It could also be that my intro is too long. Maybe I just cut straight to the chase and then deal with like an intro down the road, or maybe I pre-script something, or I'm still in the experimental phase. Okay. So if you're watching this video, and I'm coming up on 6 minutes already, but if you watch this video and you have a critique, please, I'm all ears. I'm willing to listen. If you think I can do something better about my videos, I want to know. I want to know. I mean, it's possible that I'm just too fat and too ugly. I don't know. But no, I will take all critique and criticism under advisement, and if it makes sense for me, I will do it. Anyways, what I was saying though is I'm in a position right now where I'm kind of stuck with my job, and like this past Friday, I was actually told not to come into work because I had too much time. And for those of you who may not know, in Texas, you get overtime after 40 hours. So if you work 4 days, 10 hours a day, you acquire OT after that 40th hour. In California, they've since recently changed that. It used to be anything over 8 hours a day was overtime, but now you have to be over the 40 hours to get the overtime. And because I was already at overtime, my boss just basically said, "Don't bother coming in today." But the way he said it was very, I don't want to say rude. I'm sure it's just the way he texts. It kind of comes off as too direct for my taste. You know, please and thank you goes a long way. You know, so anyways, it's that kind of stuff that kind of makes me think that I should end up leaving my job. And then, of course, certain customers, I don't like dealing with certain customers of mine. They are rather rude to me as well. I'm a man that likes to be treated fairly and with respect. And I'm sure everybody likes that, but there are some people out there that, for some reason, just can't understand that. They think that they're in charge, therefore they get to treat everybody like total dirt. It's not how life works. Sorry, I had to finish my coffee. Anyway, so, but because of certain life issues going on, I can't quite leave my job yet. I'm hoping to be able to move on by the end of this year. We'll see how things go. I may end up finally liking my job again. You know, maybe things will calm down. I noticed that, like, when I first transferred out here, my boss was rather aggressive with me, but now he leaves me alone. I don't know. We'll see. I do have a review coming up. We'll see how that review goes, and that will probably make my determination. Anyways, so let's get to the meat and potatoes of this episode. So, I had a comment recently, and I talked about it in a different video. I don't know if the way I do my videos is I record all my videos in one day, and then I schedule them for the rest of the week. That's just what works for me. I know other people will record that day, edit that day, post it that day, and I just don't have the ability to do that. More power to them. More power to them. I respect them for that. I don't have the time to do that. Anyways, so, but I don't post them sequentially. Sometimes I might say, oh, well, this is a topic that needs to be moved up. Like, for example, I had a couple of other videos recorded before the adolescent video, but I pushed the adolescence video up to the front of the chain simply because I am a individual who wants to get my name out there, and that was the trend at the time. And unfortunately, that video did not do as well as I thought it would. It's possible it'll take off later on, but for right now, it's just not doing well. I should say it's doing better, but it's still not like as good as I thought it would. I thought it would be gangbusters, and didn't really take off well. Well, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. That's not the point of this video. The point is this comment made me realize that people think that this is a channel about me. And to be fair, the videos that I've been producing have given off that impression, and I did not intend to give off that impression. The biggest issue that I'm running into is I'm not getting a lot of interaction in videos, and I thought I'd get a lot more comments, even if they were negative. I thought I was going to. I've been out in there putting comments out there. The problem is again, still not quite getting the response that I thought I would be getting. And I'm not blaming anyone. If anything, I blame myself. And I got to do more research on how to get further engagements, and it could be my style. Maybe my intro is just, it drags on. I noticed that my intro drags on for about 3 minutes. You know, maybe I need something a little more quicker and slick, or maybe I need to just cut right into the article, and you know, I don't know. I'm going to have to experiment, research, that kind of stuff. But anyways, my point is a lot of people think that this channel is about me, and it's not. This channel is not about me. I just happen to host this channel for the time being. What my hope was is people would comment, and we could bring those comments in. We can talk about them. I could have guests on here and talking about men's issues specifically. And the reason why I wanted to do it this way is because we just got done, if you want context, we just got done dealing with the therapy video. And the comment that really triggered that was someone said that I don't need a YouTube channel, I need therapy. And I'm not going to say I was mad or anything. It was more, I have done the whole therapy thing. I don't think it works for me. That's the honest to God truth. The one time therapy did kind of work for me was in a group setting. The problem is I don't see group therapy out there anymore. And I haven't seen it really since COVID. I think a lot of the group therapies have kind of shut down, and it's now more online. But I feel that people will get more from it if they go in person. And I'm going to be straight up and honest here. I've tried to start Sentinel Circle out in person. The biggest issue that I ran into was expense. A lot of churches, and I'm not trying to involve a church for religious reasons. It's just churches have space. Churches have like event centers that I wanted to rent. But the one that stuck out to me the most was, it was a 2-hour minimum, and it was $75 an hour. I don't have $150 to just drop for a thing where nobody's probably going to show up. if I had like a group of people that was going to show up, ready to go, I would spend the money in a heartbeat. I have the money. I have it in my safe right now. I would do it. But I don't want to spend money on something that's not guaranteed and just start throwing it down the toilet like that. I can't justify that. And I've looked for partnerships. The problem is the groups that I've found online don't really match with my personal beliefs. To me, what it seemed like to me is that these groups were a little too up their rears. I don't mean to be crude about it, but that's really what it pulls down to, is they were up their rears and they don't hit the problems the way I think that they should. Like there was one that I was looking at. I found an article that they posted on their website about why the manosphere is bad. And I'm not sitting there saying that red pill is good or bad. Red pill to me is a symptom of a larger problem. And the fact that they're willing to post an article saying red pill is bad, but not really diving into why red pill exists in the first place, to me seemed very disingenuous. Even for a men's group, it just seemed a little too disingenuous. And I don't think that that's something I would want to associate myself with. I'm not one to call myself the I word, the I cell. I don't believe in putting labels on yourself, because the problem with labels and isms is the moment you put that on yourself, people already make up a judgment about you even before they get to know you. And to be fair, I do that to myself, right? And when I see an individual and they got pronouns in their email account, I instantly think to myself, that's not a person I really want to associate with, and that's not fair in my view. Because I have met people of all different backgrounds and descriptors and stuff, and some people can be very interesting, nice people. And then there are some out there that can be extremely damaged. So I'm not really willing to, I don't know what you would say. I don't want to involve myself in that kind of situation. But the point is I want Sentinel Circle to be a place where anybody, again, doesn't matter what color you are, what you believe in, if you're religious, not religious, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, the only thing that I do ask is we don't involve the fair sex. And the reason for that is because it's not that I don't like women. I do enjoy a feminine presence. It's more, I can't effectively open up if a woman is in my presence. I can't. And I feel that other men are kind of in the same boat. We have the shoot, what is it called? It's not a stereotype, it's more of a trope. The trope of the men who are at the lodge and they're drinking and they're talking about their wives and, the old ball and chain, that kind of stuff. We don't have that anymore. We don't have the lodge, we don't have bowling leagues, we don't have a lot of spaces that are strictly for men, and the spaces that men do occupy, there are women there as well. And again, ladies, I'm not saying you're not welcome. It's more men need a place to be themselves, and we can't when there's a woman present. At least that's my view. And I'm trying to build a place where, men of all stripes are accepted. I myself don't drink. And the reason why I don't go to certain functions is because of the alcohol. Well, I don't want to be dealing with people who are acting a fool, who are intoxicated, obnoxious, that kind of stuff. And I've done that for years. I don't want any part of it. And that's kind of the other restriction is I want a place where, men who don't indulge in like drink, tobacco, other intoxicants. I don't want that in this space either, because again, I don't want to create an environment where other men don't feel welcome because of that. And that's the other reason why I have made a conscious effort to say that you're not allowed to swear. Because certain people don't have the reaction to swearing that others do. I personally, in my personal life, swear like a sailor. But on these videos, it's not just, if you notice, I always edit out the swears and the naughty language, and that's not just for YouTube, that's a personal choice I've made. I want people to be able to listen to this wherever, be it home, work, whatever. And I don't want anybody to get in trouble for things that are said. I know that like I have said some, I don't want to say inflammatory, but some things about women that I'm sure is not appreciated, and there's a reason for that, is because women are a men's problem. And I don't disparage women. I disparage where modern women are today. So I do firmly believe in the whole, not all women. I have women who are friends of mine, and I do feel free enough to talk about women in that regard to these women, and they have agreed with me that women today are a problem. So I know that there are women out there that believe what we believe, but again, just because I talk to these women doesn't mean that you have, and I would never invite them here to make you feel that you can't open up. So basically, that's the whole point of Sentinel Circle, is we're supposed to be a group, not one-on-one therapy, but a group therapy situation. And a lot of this breeds from my experiences going through the legal system, and because my biggest issue when I went through my situation with my ex is I lost a lot of friends. And when I say a lot, basically anybody that I knew in high school that I was still friends with, they all distanced themselves from me. And to be fair, that's a natural response. To be fair, that's a natural response. If I was in that situation, I would have done the exact same thing. I can't fault anyone for, saying, hey, you've been accused of some pretty gnarly stuff. I can't fault anybody for that. But where I fault people is they were unwilling to listen to my side of the story, for one. And two is, when it was all said and done, they still chose a side. Even when I effectively proved who the other side was, in reality, they still chose that side. And I will be the first to admit that I was very upset and bitter. I have effectively cut all those people out of my life by choice, because I don't want to be I don't want to be involved with someone who is a fair weather friendly. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make though is I really wish that there was a place like Sentinel Circle that existed that was well known, where I could go and have a support structure, because dealing with a lot of that stuff on your own it's scary, it's hard, it challenges you on many aspects of your character, and just to be able to talk to someone about it, I feel would help. And I didn't have the option of therapy at the time because my father did not make a lot of money, and whatever money I made was going to my legal defense. So like I said, I was really unable to go seek help. It was hard. It was very, very hard. And a lot of the emotions that I went through, I've never been able to really discuss in a positive and productive way. And I feel that where I'm at now, where I don't want anything to do with therapy, has kind of closed that window. And I know everyone's going to say, well, you can always still go to therapy. I know I can go, but the damage has been done. In fact, I commented under a video by Millennial Steam. He was saying homelessness is not a trauma you can get over, and I made the comment that, well, it's not just homelessness, it's all trauma you can't get over. And trauma is a scar. It's a mental scar. And people heal in different ways, but I firmly believe that trauma is not something you can get over. You look at like TLC. You look at the people on TLC. I don't want to use the F word, but the people on TLC, like My 600 Pound Life and Hoarders and all that stuff. That's all trauma, and they struggle with it every single day. But what's a good example is Hoarders. What happens when in Hoarders, they have a group that comes in and is like, we're going to help you out. We're going to get you in therapy, and we're going to get you cleaned up here, because it does take effort. It's not like this person goes to therapy, they come home, and then they start cleaning their house because they're all cured. No, it's a lifelong process that they'll never be able to get out of. And usually what you do is you hear the stories that they come up with, like they were homeless or they grew up with nothing, and you can't take that away. Unless you can erase that person's memory, you simply can't take that away. They're going to live with it for the rest of their lives. So that's kind of my whole thing is I want Sentinel Circle to be, there's no obligations. You can come in, you don't have to pay a dime. It would be nice if, I am going to open up like things like Patreon and other things for donations, but I don't want it to be this thing that someone profits on, because there's too many people profiting these days. I make enough. I don't need your money to make my life better. You know, I do want to eventually franchise this too. I want this in every major city, every mid-market city. You know, even if it's like a town of 5,000 people, I want it there. I want Sentinel Circle to be there. Because I look everywhere. I look on YouTube, I look on Rumble, I look outside. And I see just men, and you can see it. They all have the 1,000-yard stare, and they're in pain. They're hurting. They need help. Whether they want to admit it or not, they need help. And I'm not saying help as in like they need to sit down with a therapist and talk about their feelings. No. They need help in the sense that they need a place where they can go to actually discover themselves, not be told who they are, but to actually discover themselves. You know, I want a place where we can open up and learn about each other, talk about ourselves, talk about each other, without obligations, without criticism, without judgment. You know, it doesn't matter. As much as I personally don't like deviants, I'm willing to bring deviants in, you know, and listen to their stories, even though I don't know how I would handle it. I want to try and be as fair and unbiased as possible. You know, those that prey on the younger, I would not like that either. But again, this is not just for me. This is for everybody. You know, and the reason why I'm bringing those groups up is because I think they're universally reviled, but they still need a place where they can go and open up and, you know, maybe we learn something. I've always said that, like, you know, they're probably victims themselves in some capacity, and that's why they do what they do. You know, it's just a cycle of abuse. And I'm very uncomfortable saying what I just said, but again, I'm saying this not for my benefit, but I'm saying this because I do feel that everybody deserves to be heard. And the problem with I'm sorry, my allergies are killing me today. The problem with where our society is currently is nobody's willing to listen. They all talk to each other. And I'm tired of that. I really am tired of just the constant talking and not enough listening. You know, and if I could, I would stop talking right now and I'd listen to one of you nice people talk about your stories, your trials, your tribulations, your struggles. You know? Because again, I think that's really what the people who are watching, that's what they want, is they want to be heard. That's my personal belief. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm so off base it hurts. Anyways, I am coming up on 34 minutes, so I'm gonna start wrapping up here. Back to my original point. Sentinel Circle is a men's group by men, for men, no cost. We're gonna get to a point where we're gonna be asking for donations. I gotta get things like Patreon and other things set up. You know, I will, even if it's just one person out there listening, I'm going to continue to do this simply because I'm at least reaching one person. You know, and that to me is worth its weight in gold. I hope that my videos help resonate, and based on the comments I've seen, some people say it has helped and resonated, and I've seen one comment that said that I needed therapy, but I'm not mad at that person. The only reason why I'm bringing that particular comment up is because I just by certain people's definitions, everybody needs therapy, and I keep saying that like therapy is probably the worst thing for people, but that's my for at least one-on-one therapy, I think is the worst thing in the world, and that's my personal opinion. But other people obviously feel that one-on-one therapy is the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm not one to judge. If that's how you feel, well, go find a therapist. Be fruitful in your endeavors. Anyways, I'm gonna finish up here. If there are questions in the future as to what Sentinel Circle is, please ask, and I will be more than happy to answer. I do have a web domain ready to go. I just don't have the money to get the hosting yet. And when I get the hosting opened up, I'm going to make a website that will have a charter for us and have ways to help and donation links and all that stuff. Right now, I'm kind of going through Linktree because it's free, and I was in such a rush to build up the social media because the way I've approached problems before is I'm very perfectionist, and I want to get everything right before I release it, and then I never do it. So this time around, I said, let's just get everything active, and then we'll just slowly work on it over time. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I just got Patreon, I just got a Facebook page last week. I got all these different pages and everything going now. I just got to sit down and create the artwork. And again, it's a very basic artwork. Down in the future, I do want to get like someone, like a volunteer or someone. I don't want to say volunteer. I think people should be paid for the work, but even if it's like a nominal pay, I would like to get someone and pay them to make the social media stuff for us. Because I used to do that. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the patience to do it. That's why I don't do it. But anyways, I just want to get it more consistent, cleaner, make it look a lot nicer. Not just something I threw together in 5 minutes in Photoshop and said, yeah, that's good enough. Post it, But I know for a fact that everyone does that anyway, so it doesn't matter. My point being in all this is not a race. This is a marathon. I'm going to look back on these videos and say, God, these were awful. But such is life. You have to break a few eggs in order to make an omelet. Anyways, if you have any critiques, you have any ideas, suggestions, please, I'm all ears. This is not just a me thing. This is a you thing. You're just as much a part of Sentinel Circle as I am. Even though, like, I have all the accounts in my name, I still feel that this is not about. This is about how not only I can help you, but how others can help you as well. Okay? All right. Well, it's good to see you again. I'm glad that you stopped by and listened to me ramble on. Thank you so much. My name is Jack Descartes. This is Sentinel Circle once again. Have a good day. If you enjoyed my content, please like, subscribe, share, comment below, send me an email. I'm always open. You have a good day. Thank you again. Goodbye.